Hi, I'm Tree and this is Stitchless TV. I've got a patient here today that's too scared to use their sewing machine. This is Karen.
Hello.
Hello Karen, how can I help you?
Well, as you say, basically I'm just a little bit scared of my sewing machine and I'd just like to be able to get a little bit of confidence in using it.
Right, well you've come to the right place. Okay. Today we're going to replicate Karen's favourite top. So Karen, you've apparently got a sewing machine very similar to this at home, is that right? It is basically this model, yes. Right. So have you ever threaded that sewing machine?
My sewing machine is still in its box.
Terrible. Right, well I'm going to show you how to get it out of the box. Right, the sewing machine's ready because Karen's threaded it beautifully. Now, the first thing that Karen needs to do is she has to stitch up one of the shoulder seams. So we're going to do that now. Yeah, we're on a medium straight stitch. Karen's going to go forward a few stitches. Stop. And you're going to go backwards. Go a bit more slowly. You're going to go backwards. I'll show you. You go backwards to the end.
Okay. So what? Push this down.
Hold it down. Go back the way you came. Go slowly as you reach the seam edge. Yep, stop, let go. And now you're going to go forward. That's very, very good. Go straight all the way down, keeping it the same distance away from the edge.
Okay, I can already see it's not going the same distance, is it?
Stop. Right, go backwards.
Right, hang on. Backwards. Why am I going backwards now?
Forwards. You go backwards.
Forwards how far?
Just to the edge.
Just to the edge?
Just to the edge.
Over the edge?
No. Stop. Very, very good. Now we went backwards and forwards at the beginning and the end to keep the seam closed, because if you didn't do that all the threads would come undone. Now I need to show you how you release the fabric. When you are taking your fabric away from here, you have to make sure your needle's up. If it isn't...
And my foot, is it?
Yeah. Now you need to lift up your foot.
Take my foot up.
Now before you move that fabric, to release it, just create a little movement here as you pull.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Go on, do it. Little, because otherwise it feels jammed sometimes and your threads will break, and that's really annoying when your threads break. So look, this is Karen's first seam. Right, so Karen stitched her first seam and she's done
well. You
did do it. Look, it's equidistant.
I know, it's just a little bit of a
that's perfect. In my book, that's perfect. Now she needs to zigzag the edge. Right. Now if you turn your dial to F. I think F is good. Now,
or would G be, because there's not a huge amount of room, or does it matter?
I think F would be good. Now when we do the zigzag, we don't need to go backwards and forwards, but you do need to make sure that the line of your fabric is in line with the middle of that foot.
With the middle of that foot?
With the middle of the foot, because what we're doing is we're sealing the edge of the fabric.
So is one of the zigzags going over the edge?
Yeah, it is.
Right, that needs to be explained.
Very good. Right, go on then, off you go.
Okay, so it's supposed to go one side of the...
You hold the fabric very well, actually.
Thank you, I do try. There we go.
Right, so what do we do now we're at the end?
We take the needle out.
Very good.
And we
lift
the right up, and then we lift the foot.
Yeah.
And then before we pull it out, we just jiggle this little knob here.
Very good.
And then cut.
So you've done a seam here, used a straight stitch, and you've zigzagged the edges to seal the edges. Now you need to press it.
And what are you doing with that ribbing now?
Right, I'm just preparing it, because you'll find with the ribbing it's really, really annoying, because when you cut it, it just all curls up. So you find that when you press it, it still curls up. When you press it, you can sort of flatten it out a little bit, because we need to just trim it back, because I cut it really roughly. I do need to trim it back a little bit so it's more manageable. Now when you do press it, it's really important that you do not stretch it. You must not stretch this ribbing when you press it, not now anyway. Right, the length of it, just cut it really, really long, just much, much longer than you actually need. And remember this ribbing is for the neckline. But what I'm doing here is, once I've pressed it, so I've folded it over and I've pressed it, I'm just trimming it down to the width that I actually need, and I'm going to have my ribbing so it's about 1 centimetre showing and then 1 centimetre for seam allowance. So this is our ribbing. When
Are we putting this on the back and the front?
Back and the front, all the way round. Now when we put it on, when we start off, we leave a lot extra hanging off, okay? Because you might need it later on. So when we apply it, you don't stretch the bottom and you do stretch the top.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it to the sewing machine for you,
right,
to make sure that you start in the right position. Now, something that I haven't said, when you've got a lot of fabric when you're sewing, it's good to make your sewing machine be right in on the table. People always have it right at the edge. I don't understand why. Because as much, you want the fabric to be supported as much as possible, so it doesn't
most people
pull it.
Sit down, don't they?
Yeah, I know. I think it's much more energetic and dynamic standing up. And look, you've got a fantastic perspective on what you're doing. If you're here, it's like, oh, you know, you're just sitting around, you've got all day. I want you to finish this, you know, like in an hour.
It's speed sewing.
It's speed sewing.
So what am I doing?
You're going to go forwards a little bit without any stretching first of all.
But hang on.
Yeah.
These two are aligned, are they? The edge of my ribbing is aligned with the edge of my fabric.
Yes. And to begin with, you're not going to stretch. You're just going to focus on sealing your seam by going forwards.
Right. Hang on.
Stop. Backwards.
Backwards.
Yeah, stop. And now you're going to begin. So go forwards a little bit. Okay, now you need to concentrate. You've got to stretch this a little bit whilst pushing it down and touching your fabric.
Okay.
So you might need to do that a little bit. So just stretch the ribbing a little bit as you go.
Is it?
Just try it.
All right, hang on, I've lost my foot. Oh, there it is. Right.
Very good. You just take your time, yeah? Just go at your own pace.
I'm just trying to...
Okay. Lots of stretching for going around the bend, so just take it really slowly. Lots of stretching. So we'll cut that, and we will reveal what Karen has done once we've zigzagged the edges and we've pressed it. Now, when we press the ribbing, it's really important that we don't have it open in a straight line. We have it as much in the shape that it's going to finally be, okay? Because with the iron, we can sort of reshape and steam and stretch wherever we need to stretch it and stuff like that. But it is great because it just means you can make a top with
what's going on there?
Well, I've just cheated it a bit because it wasn't even, but it will get trapped into.
Wasn't even.
It wasn't even, and it can be trapped. It can be trapped into the shoulder seam, so we won't see it. So I just pressed it to prepare it for that. Right, so that's what Karen's done so far, which is really, really good. She has never sewn before, so that is damn good. So, do you remember when we stitched up the shoulder seam in the beginning? She now needs to do that on this side. So I'm going to turn it and put right sides together, and I'm matching up the ribbing. I'm going to lay it out flat, and when I know that it's all completely straight and how it's going to be, I can then trim off our excess ribbing. Now, the important bit now is that when you sew here, look, this is a tiny little thing, but it'll make a big difference. That doesn't go like that. That goes, so that overlaps a little bit, and it's really crucial, sorry, but it's really crucial.
Is this because I'm using non-stretchy fabric?
No, it isn't. This would be anyway. It's really crucial that see where they intersect there, that is where your seam is actually going to be.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to sew there. Right, yeah. And when we pivot it, we have the needle in the fabric.
But the foot up.
Yeah, foot up. Well done.
I am on
You sure you
fire.
haven't done it before?
Well, I'm now, of course. Have you put my foot down?
Yeah, foot's down.
Okay,
off you go.
so I'm going near to the edge.
You're going near to the edge. And backwards now. That's fine. Backwards. Backwards and forwards. Gentle. Very good. And cut your threads. Now, Karen's going to zigzag that, and then she's going to press it, and then we'll talk. Right, let's have a little look. So, look at that. That is not bad.
Ta-da!
Now, the next thing we need to do is Karen needs to zigzag around her armhole. So straight down there and straight down there. and then we're going to press it ready to sew.
Sorry, so
the very important thing first of all is get this all nicely open. Open out that seam and match up that shoulder seam, and then press it. Press this side. Press it first. Okay. Brilliant. So now when you go to sew that, it will just stay in place. It'll be great.
Okay.
Now another one of my tips coming up. I'm just going to press that back a little bit more there. When I sew seams, when I sew hems rather, I don't sew them that way round. I sew them that way round.
okay.
Okay.
But you couldn't do this on a darker fabric, presumably. You wouldn't. be able to-
No, you couldn't.
You just have to feel
You
it,
can
would
sort
you?
of feel it,
Okay.
yeah. And the reason why we do it this way round is very often when you sew the other way round, hems all bunch up, which is why people often have to use pins. Okay, so we're on C, and off you go. So look what Karen's done. She did that really well. It's really straight, no?
Glitch there, isn't it?
Oh, it's fine. It won't show. So now we're going to do the same on the other side. So Karen, are you excited?
Oh, I'm ecstatically excited.
Because we're nearly there. Look. So
Okay.
You've done the neck and you've done your arms. Okay. So now we just need to do the side seams and the hem.
Okay.
So to do the side seams, we're going to fold it right sides together, and we'll put our hems together like that. And you're going to sew from the hem.
Yeah.
Centimetre seam allowance.
Yeah.
You're going to come up and then you're going to curve round here.
But I'm doing this on
And
the
then
other side of the fabric, aren't I? To the
the
one that I
wrong
did here.
Yeah, we're doing it on the wrong side of the fabric, yes. Right, I've just got to take Karen round the bend, okay. For the arm, look, see how we're coming up the side seam, but we can't just continue because then we'll just seal up the armhole. So we're going to come up and then we're going to curve round and we're going to finish about there. So we're going to do the same on the other side, and we're going to zigzag those edges, and then we're going to press it. Right, Karen's now stitched up her side seams. She's hemmed her sleeves. She's put the ribbing on the neck. So now all she has to do is the hem. So before we do the hem, we need to zigzag the edges, and then we press the hem in position, and then we sew. So Karen's pressed her hem, and now all she's got to do is sew it. So we're going to sew it this way round, put it under the machine. Come on then, Karen.
Okay.
Right, are you okay there, Karen?
Yeah, we're good, nearly finished. Oh.
So just make it nice and flat. So go to where you started. You're going to meet where you started. You go backwards and forwards. Stop. Really good, Karen. Right, we're just going to press it. And then Karen's going to try it on. Are you going to try it on?
Am I going to try it on?
Go
I'm going to try it
on,
on.
go on, try it on. So,
Right. I don't think
Karen.
it doesn't go with the skirt, obviously.
That's okay. Don't know, you look great. So look, now Karen's fabric, we used this fabric because she got it really cheap, but I think it looks lovely. She's complaining that it's a bit
I'm not complaining.
a bit rigid, okay, but I think it looks great. Why don't you try tucking it in if you want to see it tucked in?
It's a bit too rigid to tuck in, this one.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
There's me complaining.
But what I would do is I put it on a hot wash,
Yeah, see,
tumble
I
it with
quite
lots
like
of
that,
clothes. You look lovely.
think
Or can
that-
you show our viewers? Look at that. And she made it in less than an hour, and she's never sewn before.